All right, welcome back. It is still Breakfast Daily, and the show is interactive. We do want to hear from you. Hashtag is Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms. The WhatsApp line is 0550585832. Now, Shrema,
yes, David.
the conversations around Galamsey, the conversations that we've had over the last 2-3 years, showing terrible deteriorating water bodies, condition of water bodies, and so on and so forth. And there was a report that came out some time ago that said that if we're not careful, by 2030, Ghana will be importing water.
Yeah.
It looks like this threat is slowly beginning to show its face, that the likelihood of us getting to that point of running out of good, clean, potable water is a reality.
No, so for me, I think that it's very important, that we all know that you are responsible for whatever happens to you.
Yeah.
And your future, how your future is going to be depends on your lifestyle today. So if you are messing things up, very soon you should know that you will be crying, as you are laughing today.
Yeah.
Because you think you are not broadening your thinking.
Yeah.
So you think that, okay, it's about money, I just want to make quick monies. And so you are prepared to destroy anything and everything to achieve that, forgetting that in a few years, you will be having the effect of your decisions today.
Yeah.
So if we are destroying farmlands, very soon food will be a problem.
A challenge.
If we are destroying water bodies, very soon water will be a problem.
Yeah.
Now, the very soon is what we do not know.
Yeah. How soon?
How soon is what we do not know.
Yeah.
So for me, if you are in the central region, very soon, extremely soon, water will be rationed to you. And already residents are crying, because they're not getting enough water. Could it be the effects of Galamsey? What exactly is the problem? What is the Ghana Water Company telling us is the cause of all these issues that the central region is facing? We have a report put together by City News' central regional correspondent, Georgina Appiah. Let's take a look.
Residents in areas such as Cape Coast, Salt Pond, Mankasim and Briwa, among other communities in the central region, have been experiencing short supply of water for close to a week, a situation they describe as worrisome. The Ghana Water Company has, however, attributed the situation to lack of fresh water inflows into the Pra River and subsequently the dam at Setrehimine and Befikrom. According to the Central and Western Regional Communications Manager for the Ghana Water Company, Nana Yauberima Banye, the water levels at the two intake points have gone very low, making it difficult to draw enough raw water for treatment and production of potable water, hence the water crisis. But affected residents are surprised the company did not alert them early enough.
Since Thursday, we've not had any water flow in our house. I've inquired from other houses around, and it's only about 2 households that are having water. Meanwhile, we've not heard of any announcement. At least, if they've told us something, we would have made preparation to save some water. Yesterday, I even had to go to a friend to collect a little water before I was able to bath my children. It's a very bad situation. And my problem is the bills they bring to our house. It's even too big. Myself and about 3 children, I pay around 170 Ghana cedis, and the water is not flowing. But at the end of the month, you expect me to pay the bill. So the problem is very horrible. I'm not comfortable at all in this situation.
I stay at Sipoli. For the past 4 days now, there is no water for us. And they didn't even give us any information that there will be no water. And since then, we don't have water to do our house choices. Some to use the water to cook for people to buy, and now they don't have water. And now to pure water is for 40 pesos. And we don't have that money to go and buy pure water. And we can't be always buying pure water. The last time they give us information that there will be no water, but this time they didn't give us any information. So we want to ask Ghana Water, that why is it that there is no water? As you can see, the tap is not flowing, so they've locked it. So we want to know why the tap haven't been flowing till now.
The Central and Western Regional Communications Manager for the Ghana Water Company, Nana Yauberima Bania, in an interview with City News revealed that Central Region would soon experience water rationing and urged customers to store water whenever the water is restored to reduce the challenge of water shortage.
Wow, so you heard Georgina Apia there bringing us a report on the water situation in the Central Region. Now, Nana Yauberima Bania is the Communications Manager for Ghana Water Company Limited, Central and Western Regions. Thank you very much for joining us, Nana.
Thank you, madam.
Right, so shed more light, on the problem. How serious is this situation in the Central Region?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. The issue is that whenever we get into the dry season, like where we are now, Ghana Water Company faces some challenges with respect to abstracting adequate quantities of raw water for treatment. What we do is that we always draw our water from our dams. Where there is no dam, but there is a river, we just draw as the river flows. Unfortunately, because we get in the dry season and it does not rain, the levels in the dam or in the river basin reduces. And once the levels reduce, our pumps, our equipment are unable to draw enough quantities such that we'll be able to produce to meet the needs of our cherished consumers. So this is what gives us the problem. Currently, when we look at Setraheman, which produces water for Cape Coast metropolis, our production has significantly reduced. At first, we were doing 15,000 cubic meters of water a day. That's our average daily production. However, because of this problem, the production reduced to about 5,000 cubic meters. Then if we look at, say, Befikrom, which produces water for Mankasim, Saltpond, and Briwa, and their environs, there too, the level of production reduced by about half. So obviously, when this happens, it's going to shell on supply. So that is why I found it necessary to issue a release so as to alert our consumers, especially our customers, people that we send bills to, people that we have entered into a contract to supply water to, so that when they find their water, their taps flowing, they won't be in a position to store as much water as they can, so that the next moment when the tap stops running, they will be able to rely on the water that they have already stored. So this is the situation we find ourselves in. But I must say that in the release, we also stated that we were studying the situation to see what measures we could put in place so as to ameliorate the difficulty, the challenges that our customers go through with respect to finding water for their daily activities. So currently, we have money to step up production at both Setraheman and Befikrom. And now, as I spoke to the distribution manager who is in charge of Central Region yesterday, he tells me things are somehow getting into normalcy, even though we will not get to our usual situation where we could produce to our maximum, but we will be able to, beat down the problem a little bit. So even when we talk of institutions, we are not getting so many calls from, let's say, hospitals and many schools complaining of no water. It was yesterday that we received a call from Wesley Girls that their pressures had reduced. But their issue was actually mainly with internal distribution issues. So we had to educate them somehow how to be able to do the distribution, to step up their pressures within their compound. Then also we received a call from St. Augustine, which also complained a bit. and we assure them that we're going to do something about it so that they will not be able to feel the impact of this scarcity so much.
Right, Nana, has this always been the issue, over the years?
Yes, whenever we enter the dry season, we experience this problem. The issue is that we extract raw water from either a dam or a river basin.
Right.
But because it does not rain during the dry season, the levels go down. And once the levels go down, the capacity of our pump to abstract enough quantity also go down.
Right, so we get that. So in an instance where for about 2 months or 3 months, we've not had any serious rains, what is going to happen?
Unfortunately, I must say that we may have to hope and pray that we get early rain, because the rivers and the dams which are fed by rain are only sources of water for treatment. So we may have to, hope and pray that God will help us, give us some early rain. Otherwise, we will have a little challenge on our hands, madam.
Right. So this time around, you are taking water from the Pra River, right?
Yes, that's Heman. We are taking water from the Pra River at Heman. But in Bertikum, there is idea that Irrigation Development Authority dam, where we abstract water for treatment at Bertikum for distribution to those communities.
Right. So what's the quality of the Pra River now? How is the river doing?
Well, unfortunately, I have to say that the river is not doing that well. It's not doing that well. We're hoping that with the enforcement of the law on the ban of galamsey, we will be able to see clear water. But currently, the values that we have don't suggest that we are having any headway now, because even when you are going to Cape Saturday and you get to Beposo, the Pra River is as dirty as it used to be. It's as turbid as it used to be. So it doesn't look good, really. It doesn't look that good.
Mr. Barnier, I just want to find out from you. So compare a situation where galamsey has zero impact on a river versus what we have now. What would the situation have been in terms of, tapping water from the river? If
this is what happens.
Yeah.
When there is galamsey, the bed of the river bed is actually disturbed.
Okay.
So you find large accumulation of silt at the intake and within the sump. The sump is where the pumps are and they draw the water. But because of galamsey, there is so much filtration at the sump or at the intake. Because of this, it reduces the quantity of water that comes to the intake.
Okay.
For example, let's say you have a bucket of water. It is full. However, there is sand. About half of the bucket is full of sand. If you want to draw water from that bucket, you are not going to get a bucket or going to transfer that water from that bucket to another bucket of the same size.
Yeah.
Definitely, you are not going to get the bucket full because half of that bucket is sand. So that is what happens. So there is so much filtration because of galamsey. Okay. So we are not able to get as much water. You see the water gathered there, the water sitting there, but about half of that is silt or sand. So this is what galamsey does to the operation of Ghana Water Company.
So we can say quite clearly from your analogy that the impact or the situation we find now, and that's causing you to ration, is actually impacted by galamsey as much as the dry weather, right?
Galamsey is partly to blame.
Okay.
Galamsey is partly to blame.
All right.
Because galamsey actually causes a lot of issues with Ghana Water. Then also it makes us spend so much money to maintain our equipment, to repair them and all of the breakdown side of it, because at the equipment, the pumps are drawing water.
Yes.
They also be drawing sand or silt, and the equipment also breaks down quite often. If there was no galamsey, we would not be able to have that situation where we have to do frequent maintenance of our equipment. So this is what we are having to deal with now.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes,
Nana, before you go, so if you have to ration water now, how is it going to be like? You know, how often will residents get water flowing through their taps?
Currently, our team in Central Region are working round the clock to ensure that if it has to do ration, if we really end up doing ration, we are going to draw up a timetable so that maybe Cape Coast municipality, this area you get water on these days, the next day this area is going to get water. So we'll be able to detail it as to when each community is going to get water. But because we have not been able to take a final decision with respect to rationing, the rationing timetable is not out. If we talk of Western Region, for example, we are rationing. Because we are rationing, we have a rationing timetable. We have a schedule for rationing. And that rationing tells us when each community within the Takoradi metropolis is going to get water. And we have put this thing out over the years. Even yesterday, I did a number of interviews giving out all the communities where when they are going to get water and when they are not going to get water. So if it happens to happen in Cape Coast as well, or Central Region, we will also be able to draw a schedule so that each community will be abreast with when they won't be getting water, madam.
Right, thank you very much, Nana Yao Bani, Communications Manager for Ghana Water Company Limited, Central and Western Regions.
Yes.
Thank you very much, madam.
All right, and we've been joined in the studio by our colleague, Kojo Akoto Boateng. Of course, this is a subject that is dear to his heart, and we've been dealing with this thing for the last 4 or 5 years. You know, we're talking about it all the time. And Kojo, you're welcome this morning.
Thank you, Kuku.
Yeah.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well.
Yeah.
Today
we'll give you coffee.
I can see 3 creamy plus. And we are 3.
You when you're going, you can take one.
You can take one. You can take one. Or you want to drink it now?
It will shorten the conversation.
You know, yeah, you can take one.
Creamy plus.
You can take one. At least you know like creamy plus, you are safe.
Yes.
No shade intended.
No.
And run, I do not be yes, okay.
But I did some cocoa beverage with cream crackers.
Wow, hello, okay.
I'm trying to live effective living.
There are people saying that we shouldn't be eating at night, but I think that Nkiti is more painful in the night than having a pot belly in the morning.
And running in the morning. We deal with pot belly.
So maybe did
No, maybe did good. It doesn't want to kill you. But welcome. But on a more serious note, you know, this is the problem we are facing now. Central Region is really feeling the brunt of not having water. You know, we've been talking about if we are not careful, very soon we'll be rationing water. If you are not careful, we'll be importing water. It sounded quite distant, you know, but this is the reality. And I think that Nanaya was trying to be a bit economical, you know, with the impact of Galamsey, you know. So he was kind of trying to blame it on
the dry weather.
But we've always had dry weather, you know, and the situation hasn't been that bad. But now we have to be truthful to ourselves and face the problem head on. Galamsey is also here, and you heard him say that this is also partly as a result of effects of Galamsey.
Yeah.
Where are we?
It's a difficult thing. If you look at Central, Western, Greater Accra, Ashanti, almost all the regions, at different points in time, every year, there's a bit of rationing, or there's some rationing that happens. And Central region is in the news. Western region is also happening, and other places are going to come up. And as he said, and you've rightly re-echoed, Galamsey is one of the reasons, but it's not the only reason.
Yeah.
It's not been raining. That's also a fact. And it's not been raining because the factors we need to conjure rain have all been cleared. Deforestation, vegetation loss, for housing, for all sorts of activities, even farming, and all those things are contributing. And it's a problem. Now, if you look at the Ghana Water Company structure for the Central region, they've got about 9 different production plants that pick water from the Bream, Ayensu, Ochi River, and some other, and the Pra River as well. Pra, as we know, is polluted. So even if they are getting the volumes of water from the Pra, they would have to spend more money in treating that.
Yeah.
That's one. Ochi is not getting enough water. Ayensu is also not getting enough water, and it's a problem. Now at full capacity, Ghana Water Company in the Western region will be able to do just about 138,000 cubic meters of water a day. Now, if you calculate and draw it down to units that we all understand, you know the old 24 buckets.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. The metal
the
bucket.
metal bucket, the old
Yeah.
24 buckets. It's 24 liters.
Okay.
So at full capacity, if you look at the population of the central region, Ghana Water is able to produce water enough to give each person 24 buckets of water a day.
Okay.
Okay.
So it means you use half bucket to bath in the morning, half bucket to bath in the evening. You drink some, you use some to cook, some to clean. So 2 a day. But mind you, the water use is not just the individuals. Car washing bays are using water.
Yeah.
Industries are using water. All sorts of commercial. So
Hospitals.
that's 2 buckets a day production is actually not enough for the central region. So at this point that they are reducing production because they are not getting enough raw water, it means that we are probably looking at half a bucket a day or just 1 bucket a day for the people, which is really tight.
Yeah.
They are in dire straits. So it's something that we need to talk about. But largely we also need to look at how, knowing our situation now, we can use whatever exists to make sure we don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
There are lots of leakages around in people's homes, in the communities. So we need to find ways of plugging the leakages. There are some people who also don't use water economically. You go to people's homes, they have a pump connected to the water system.
Yeah.
They have a shower. You know these new showers with the large shower heads.
Shower heads, yeah.
So he switches on the water, he turns on the tap, and about 5 liters of water is flowing every minute.
Yeah.
So one person ends up wasting about 10-24 buckets of water just for 1 bath.
So how should we bath?
Now, there are people who have water closets in their homes that are the 15-16 liter water. So he flushes once, he urinates and he flushes, and almost 3/4 of the bucket is gone.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so people need to install the cisterns that take 4, 5, 6 liters, maximum 9 liters of water, so that they reduce that as well for those who use water closets. And for the showers, we need to use the showers that's
The old one.
not the old ones. There are also new showers
They have
that have
heads.
smaller heads and smaller holes that spreads the water to be able to clean you and give you that comfortable shower, but uses less water.
Okay.
Okay.
And these are not expensive to get. So these are practical ways we need to use to conserve water in our homes. And most importantly, we need to store rainwater.
Okay.
It's something we don't do because dry season, we don't have water. And then rainy season, rainwater causes flooding
Yeah.
because we are not managing
It's a
it.
problem
too
with
much
the
water.
mathematics.
I think that as a matter of urgency, those who manage our district municipalities and the built industry space, we must make a law that every house, every structure must have rainwater storage facilities. So that when you build a house, you have to dig
Included.
and have an underground tank that you direct your rainwater into when it rains. Because see, if you have 100 by 100 plot of land and it rains for say 1 hour, about 5 big polytank fulls of water will land
come down
on
in
your
the
house
rain,
and flow off.
Yeah.
If you've done hard surface, this water will flow into gutters, and usually you don't have gutters, so it will flow on the roads. It gets blocked somewhere and it's all flooding.
Yeah.
But if we had underground water tanks, 1 or 2 rainfalls could help you store about 30,000 liters of water. If you're a house of say 4 or 5 people, 30,000
use that
liters of
for
water, you can
months.
use it for.
But should we also not be looking at desalination?
Yeah, desalination is there, but one thing, rainwater is not super hard water.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seawater is hard water.
Yeah.
The amount of electricity you need to desalinate, the cost involved. That's why the Bifisa desalination plant here in Accra has been a problem for Ghana Water. Because the cost of desalinating the water is so high that it doesn't make economic sense. Countries that are desalinating, if you go to the Emirates, the Arab countries, why are they able to desalinate? They have oil, they can produce electricity, and they don't have freshwater sources. So the sea is their main, so they don't have any alternative. But the amount of water that flows on the surface of Ghana every year, from January to December, it's about 56 or something billion cubic.
Wow.
That is enough water. If we had a big, say, lake that we're trapping all that water into, that is enough water to feed the whole of West Africa for domestic, commercial, and agricultural use.
I don't want to believe that the experts do not know this. So why are they not doing it?
It's about.
Is it difficult to implement?
It's not. We just have to be practical. I think we just have to be practical. For example, go to Ashaiman.
Yeah.
In Nkrumah's time, he built a dam in Ashaiman.
Yeah.
It's now a big lake. It was supposed to be used for irrigation, for agric. Now people have built all around it. Now that dam was built to hold on the water that was coming from the mountains when it rains, to keep it to be released into the sea gradually, so that one, it doesn't cause flooding, and we store the water for irrigation and other purposes.
Yeah.
If you go to East Legon, there is
Same
a
thing.
Palace Lake around the American House area. If you go to Lakeside,
Yes.
if you go to, in fact, he mentioned some of the irrigation dams, Nanabane, somewhere in the central region. I've been to Gomoa Potsin to see some of the irrigation dams and all those things. So there are simple, practical ways we can store water, reserve water, contain water for agricultural use, for manufacturing, So I feel that as a matter of urgency, in our land use and spatial planning regulations, we need to have a law or a regulation that enjoins all of us to store rainwater.
Okay.
Because if you built a house, in Kumasi, I used to live in a house that one of my uncles built. So the whole kitchen, if you enter the kitchen, he excavated the ground and then built and then put slab on it. That's where the kitchen is. So when it rains, all the water goes there.
Okay.
And in the garden, he had another underground tank which he filled with soil and planted grass on it. So in that house, there is no Ghana water connection.
Okay.
He stores rainwater and uses it all year round.
Now, is this expensive to do?
I don't think it's expensive to do.
Especially if you're doing it as part of your initial construction.
Yeah.
If you're doing those things as part of your, and even these days, companies like Polytank and all these plastic manufacturers make tanks that you can
really
sink.
you can put underground. There are a lot of these concrete companies that make concrete members that you can put underground to store water. And I think that if the state thought about water security and put in place a structure to even assist people do that, we are assisting people to build toilets in their homes.
Yeah.
Even electricity.
We are assisting people to build toilets in their homes. We are assisting people to do these things because look, the next world war, as we've been told 30 years, will be over water.
Yeah.
Then the next one will be over sand.
Oh wow.
Anya.
Yes, Anya.
Hey.
We are winning everything.
Yeah, because water is the most used material in the world.
Yeah.
And then concrete is the next most used material in the world. And concrete is sand, stones, and water.
Yeah.
And now, if you want sand to buy for construction, ask those who drive the trucks where they go to get sand. Stealing from people's farms, sand raining on beaches, and all those things. So I think that we need to look at water as part of the SDGs. Water use is something that the country must have a Ghana water strategy that stores rainwater in underground tanks for domestic use. That has a component that we have water reservoirs all around to store water for agric and other uses.
Speaking about water reservoirs
and water conservation,
I want to ask you about something to do with water reservoirs, because I've been seeing some in town, at least as far back as 20 years ago. They put up some particular water reservoirs. I don't know what's happening with those ones, but let's get into that conversation after a short break. Breakfast Daily will be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. We were discussing water before we went for the short break. And if you have any questions regarding that, maybe you want to share your experience in your neighborhood, wherever you are in the country, do send us a message. We'll definitely want to hear that, and then also have Kojo react to it. 0550585832. Now, Kojo, we're talking about reservoirs, and I was commenting that I remember about 20 or so years ago, I noticed some come up, and I am in the Achimota area near a place called Hotel de Joko. There's a huge reservoir tank that came up. It's we always see it fenced and locked out. So it's like we don't know what is there. It looks like a white elephant, but what are those water reservoirs?
It's not a white elephant.
Okay.
In the Ghana water system, they place these reservoirs at vantage places, usually on higher ground.
Okay.
And then water is pumped into the reservoirs.
Okay.
And then the reservoirs release water into homes by the force of gravity.
Okay.
So the water is sitting up there.
Okay.
So they don't need extra pumping capacity, extra electricity to maintain the pressure of water in the taps for us.
Okay.
And so usually the water is pumped there, water is pumped there.
So they are actually in use?
Yes, and the reservoirs also store water. So let's say if you have a 100,000 liter capacity reservoir in Achimota.
Yes.
And for some reason, Ghana Water has shut down Wager. Usually there's some water in the reservoir, which will serve the community. Still water is also pumped back. So that's the purpose. So there are those above ground reservoirs, and then there are the small dams and lakes that we create, which are also on ground reservoirs that serve different purposes. They help us manage flooding. They help us do irrigation in areas where farming is happening. And in areas where there's no farming, a water body within a community does two things. As water evaporates and the wind is blowing, it keeps the microclimate of the area cool. So if you go to these places, if you go to around Ashaman Dam, if you go to Lakeside, if you go to, it's cooler there.
It's cooler there.
If you live around, so water serves a lot of functions for us. And the other advantage is that if you are trapping more water and storing more water, as the water evaporates, condensation happens, then the water cycle. But what you are seeing is that a lot of water is flowing on the surface of Ghana. All this water is ending up in the sea because we are not storing enough. They are ending up in gutters, choked gutters, then they become contaminated, go into the sea, destroy our marine life. So we need to start thinking about storing water. I think it's one of the biggest advantages nature and God has given Ghana that we've overlooked and creating problems for ourselves. If we had these underground tanks home, the water you store, the rainwater you store, can be used to water your garden and your lawns, can be used for washing, can be used for bathing, it can be used for cleaning.
General cleaning.
The only thing you can't use it for is drinking. Even that, there are water purification tablets, aqua taps you can use. You can boil the water.
It's a simple way to do it.
Or just get Ghana water to drink. Or buy dispensers. And so I think that the Ministry of Works and Housing, traditional leaders, people whose voices matter, should start having these conversations. We need to be putting money in NCC to start even educating people. So real estate development, if you are doing a development, you should designate a portion of the area, build a tank, build a reservoir, let's store water so that we reduce the surface runoff, store enough water for everyday domestic activities. And when Ghana Water is unable to give us more water, at least we have water we can depend on for other things. And then the Ghana water will then be processed for drinking and activities that need water at a certain quality.
Right. So I think that for conversations on water, we can go on and on and on and on, because I have a lot of questions. Maybe after the show, we'll sit down and, talk about other stuff. But I just mentioned, education, maybe the NCC must come in. Yesterday we're talking about stress and mental health and other things. I think in our part of the world, what we do not really factor in is how to unwind. Because when people are unwinding, we take it as mohwatomo, and we feel like hotel. But these are natural ways, of avoiding certain sicknesses and diseases, and I think that this should be part of our lives. Now, if adults do not even have this, children's issues do not even come into the conversation at all.